Jesus, you love me too much. Oh, oh. Too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love. Oh. Jesus, you love me too much. Oh, oh, oh. You love me. You love me, I cannot say why. Yes, you love me. Jesus, you love me too much. Oh. Too much, oh, excess love. This mountain looming so large in front of me. Can't climb it, how I'll get over, I just can't see. But I remember how you delivered in times before. For you're the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Oh yeah, my mind says I don't think I can get. But I'm reminded of what you have done before. And I know that you're gonna do.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300 EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon. Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300 EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Right drum.
Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine.
Hello. Welcome to Ask Elaine. Now that you see us on here, you know that it's Wednesday. You know that it's 3 p.m. and it's time for Ask Elaine. It's time for your news and information program, the very best one that the Glory has to offer. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you once again to Ask Elaine. We want to thank all of you who have joined us on AM, FM, and of course, those who can see us live right here on the Glory Live. We've got a very, very special guest that all of you know. But you've maybe not had a chance to talk with this person or listen to some information coming from this particular person. But before we introduce or present to you who this person is, we're going to tell you about several things that are going on in the community. First of all, we want to express our condolences to the family of the late Reverend Rockmore. just a wonderful man of God, a wonderful singer. Many of you know him from his singing with quartets over the years. Just a wonderfully talented man, and we will miss Reverend Rockmore. We also want to express condolences to the families of all of those other folks who have lost their loved ones. And by the same token, we want to congratulate those of you who got married. We understand former state rep Nikki Randall got married. So, welcome to the club. And from the pictures that I've seen on Facebook, it was a beautiful ceremony there. I think Panama City, Pensacola. It was one of those P's in Florida, but it was a beach wedding, and everybody was just beautiful. The bride and groom were very, very much, a part of that whole thing. They looked wonderful and looked very, very happy. So we want to wish them all the best as they, walk down this. Path of marriage together. We also want to express our congratulations to all other families that are involved with someone graduating from whatever area of education you're graduating from. I understand that on next Friday evening, Central Georgia Technical College will have their graduation over at the amphitheater. And so I just think that's just wonderful. Spent some time at the amphitheater last week with the senator. He even danced a little bit. And DA cut a rug. That's old fashioned, isn't it? Cut a rug. And Songbird and a number of other folks were there. It is a tremendous facility. There are tremendous entertaining acts that are appearing there, and the sky's the limit on that. When that proposal was first presented to the public, a lot of people were skeptical. And if you've had an opportunity to go in there and to witness a performance or just to look at what your community has to offer now, you can't help but be proud. So it was our honor and privilege to be there to witness Anthony Hamilton and Leela James, who is one of my big favorites, and Johnny Gill, and he took us to church. I tell you, some folks, they shouldn't have been waving their hands and praising. They were there and they were doing it, so it was just wonderful. We want to welcome Randy Crawford, who is with us each week, and the twin Ricky Crawford. We want to thank you for tuning in. Please click like and share, and remind those other folks that they are missing Ask Elaine. They're missing Getting Smarter. This is the place where each week we know that you learn some things, hopefully, some things that you can go back and you can use in the community to make this the very best place that it can be. We want to invite you out to Lizzie Baptist Church this evening. Hello, Patricia Booz. Welcome to Ask Elaine. Want to welcome you out to Lizzieboro. Reverend Derek Dumas is the pastor. That's on Fort Hill Street, and they will have an opioid um, town hall this evening, and I believe it starts maybe at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. If you'll check my Facebook page, there's a flyer that's posted on there that invites you to take part in that. Opioids is a big problem and getting bigger and bigger. And if you think your family is not affected by this stuff, just wait. So you need to be informed. You need to take part. I think they have food there for you, and some experts who are going to tell you what this problem is all about and how you can take part and being a part of the solution rather than remaining in the dark and being a part of the problem. There's also one other event that starts about 4 o'clock, right after we finish here on WDDO. There, the community garden over where the Little Richard Resource House is in Pleasant Hill at 4, from 4 until about 7. They're going to be bringing back that garden that was being handled and kept up by the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Association. Well, they're joining in conjunction with Black Voters Matter and some other organizations over there, along with resources of the county, and they're going to be putting that garden back into service and growing vegetables. And in the past, those vegetables have been donated to people in the Pleasant Hill neighborhood or others in need. So at 4 o'clock, there's going to be a young lady who's going to be there, and she's going to talk about um, gardening, and she's going to talk about young people and their involvement. It's just a wonderful opportunity for you. They will have food and water for you, compliments of Black Voters Matter and other organizations. United Way is a part of it, and several other community organizations, including the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Group. So go by over there if you're interested in gardening, or you just like to know what people are doing to revitalize communities in Macon Bibb County. Some of the Macon violence prevention groups are supporting that event over there as well. So I believe it's from 4 to 7 this evening. So I look to see some of you over there. Yeah, I'm a go country girl. I know a little something about planting. I don't know whether I'm going to help plant or not, but hey, I'm going to be there to support. I give my wholehearted support to that. We've got to go back to some things that were tried and true, some things that we did years ago that helped to sustain communities. So those were the announcements. And one final announcement is that on behalf of the Lucas family, please join us for the Al Lucas Memorial Scholarship. It's an event that's going to take place Tuesday, April 30th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame on Cherry Street. We'll celebrate the 2024-25 Al Lucas Memorial Scholarship recipients and honor the memory of the Macon legend, my baby boy, Al Lucas, our baby boy. As David says, I leave him out sometimes because I'd say my baby boy like I was the only one involved in, Al's creation. But anyway, so our baby boy Al will celebrate one more year. It seems like it was just yesterday, but it's been 19 years since Al died. And so his memory is still fresh with all of us because we helped to try and keep it alive by helping to motivate other young scholar athletes to go on and have a fulfilling life and then give back to the community. So it has been our pleasure for all of these years to do something in Al's honor and to keep his memory alive. So mark your calendar for Tuesday, April 30th, 2024 at the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame at 6 p.m. for the Al Lucas Memorial Scholarships. I think those are the only announcements. I think we're going to hear from Leon Jones, our coroner, who is going to support two of our graduates this upcoming June graduation. Everybody can't afford a whole lot of stuff, and so we've got several graduates that Leon Jones, our coroner, is going to support them by paying their graduation fee for EL High School Academy. And so we want to thank him so very much for everything that he does for the community. Kimberlyn Houston, welcome. Patricia Booz, Randy Crawford, Ricky Crawford. Where's the rest of the gang? They're on AM and FM. And so y'all click like and share so that we can remind people that Ask Elaine is on the air. This is your voice Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you once again to Ask Elaine. And it's my honor now to present to you and to introduce, I don't know who has been introduced to this person, but present the mayor of Macon-Bibb County, none other than the Honorable Lester Miller, who is joining us today. He is a candidate for re-election as mayor, formerly served on the Bibb County Board of Education. He's an attorney. And I'm going to say hello and welcome to Ask Elaine. I think this is your first time on Ask Elaine, isn't it?
It's the first time you let me come here.
Well, you have to ask now. You know that. Anyway, we want you to meet your mayor. And we also want you to know that if you have a question that you'd like to place in the chat, please do that. Our call-in number is 478-250-1444. And you're welcome to call in with a question or to place that question or comment in the chat. So, welcome, Mayor Miller, and thank you for joining us on Ask Elaine.
Well, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here.
Good, good. I know you've got a lot to share with us. I really enjoyed Anthony Hamilton. Years ago, Senator Lucas was talking about an amphitheater.
That's right.
And he was serious about it, but other folks looked at him and said, "What in the world is he talking about?" But he could see that this was something that moving forward that this community would support and everything. But first, I'm going to let you tell about yourself, anything that I've left out, anything that you want to enhance as far as information. Tell the folks of Macon about yourself and then why you're running for re-election as mayor.
Well, I hope everybody knows me. Otherwise, I haven't done my job. And if you don't know, thanks, Lester, maybe you know me as Mayor Miller. But I'm a lifelong resident of Macon-Bibb County, 55 years. I've had the pleasure to live all across Macon-Bibb County, 7 years, 7 elementary schools in 7 years, and went to Southwest High School. I know that's not your school, but it's my school. I'm a proud patriot.
Northeast, right.
1987. I've raised my family here. Both my boys went to a public school and then later on went to Mercer. My wife was my high school sweetheart, 1987 class as well at Southwest, and pretty much been involved all my life. As you may know, Pastor Ficklin was one of my teachers at Southwest. He used to take me to some city council meetings where I got to see you and he and others in action and learn some things about that. And of course, now it's a law academy over at Southwest. And I had the pleasure of practicing law for 30 years now. Pleasure of serving on the school board for 8 years. And then decided I want to do something crazy like run for mayor. So my goal in the next 4 years, if elected and people want to send me back to represent them in our community, is to make sure we continue doing all the great things that we're doing now. We have a record to run on. Just a couple of days ago, someone asked me what distinguishes me from my opponent, and it's really I have a proven track record now. Some of the things I'll tell you about and certainly answer questions on is just we make campaign promises. And I think people can go back to anything we promised during our election and look and see if we've done them or not.
Okay. Well, now that you mentioned that, tell us what you promised and what you've done.
Well, we promised to touch every part of our community. One thing we heard a lot about during my campaign is that everything was going downtown. And downtown is a great place to go, and it continues to grow, and we're not going to do anything to hurt that. But other parts of our county was not getting some TLC, in particular the Macon Mall area. And when you get over to Southwest, Macon area, we wouldn't get the love. We had a mall that was going to be pretty much blighted in a few years. And South Macon over in Houston Avenue wasn't getting any love. And certainly East Macon, we felt like wasn't getting any love. So we've got great projects, over $100-something million project, not paid by the taxpayers, by the way. That's investment into the Macon Mall area. And we got a lot of great things thanks to a SPLOST that was passed years ago. And I think former Mayor C. Jack Ellis was wanting to do the Cliffview Lake, and it kind of fell on the shelf.
Right.
We're revitalizing that. We're getting ready this week probably to have a groundbreaking over
and
there.
the South Bibb.
Right, that's South Bibb on Houston Avenue. We've also torn down 153 houses just in that area alone, from Eisenhower all the way through Bruce School and Glenmore Estates. And of course, the big project too is just outside what we hope to be the National Park in East Macon. It's going to be a $300 to $400 million project where we're selecting a master planner now that's really going to lift that whole entire area up. Because it's in a tax allocation district, we call it a TAD, all the money that's raised from that property from the build up has to be used in East Macon. That's something can get those nice sit down restaurants they've been asking for to bring good business, good jobs, and good homes over there. And of course, with your help and the assistance of Senator Lucas and everyone in the state, we were able to pass an OLAS, and we've received about a 50% property tax cut. And we're seeing that money reinvested back in our community, and it allows us to do great things like give raises to our public safety, which we've done, $40 million incentive pay, and also to eliminate 700 blighted structures that we've had. Another campaign promise I made is to be more inclusive in our community. One of the 5 buckets I have was diversity, equity, inclusion. And through our board appointments, we've been very diligent about appointing people that look like those in our community. I'll give you 3 quick examples. Our top 3 boards, and you know those, Elaine, was Industrial Authority, the Urban Development Authority, and Planning and Zoning. I'm happy to report my appointments on each of those boards. The Planning and Zoning has 4 out of 5, either minority or women, that sit on that board. And most of those are my appointments or renewals. The Industrial Authority has about 4 on there, minority and women as well. And then the Urban Development Authority has 5 out of 7 of those members, women and minorities. So we're keeping true to our promise on that to be more inclusive, to get more people involved. And I think we're seeing some great results because of it.
Okay. So why would you do that? Why is it important to do that?
I think it's important because we have a lot of talent in Macon, and sometimes it gets overlooked because people are not connected or in those cliques. Everyone needs to have a seat at the table, and everyone needs to be represented. And we've made an intentional effort to make sure we do that. That's why most of the appointments we try to bring a diverse group to our community. That's exactly why the transition team I set up was from all parts of our community and all walks of life. And they had a lot of input into the things that we're doing here now.
Okay, so talk just a little bit. You've talked, we want to take these different focus areas. Let's take the mall area. The criticism was y'all taking all our money, putting it out there in the mall. It's not going anywhere. Talk about that in detail. What actually happened?
Well, the mall, we got a lot of folks that give misinformation, so I'm glad I have a chance to clear that up today. The mall project was about 75 acres, and prior to becoming mayor, I'd reached out and spoke with the owners of the Macon Mall, which was Hull, and we discussed the possibility of me getting elected, and after getting elected, we would do a gift of the mall, and not us buying for it. They tried to sell the mall to several folks before that 2020-21. So we got a gift of the mall. We had an appraisal of the mall with the things that I wanted to include in there of over $70 million. It allowed Hull to write off $10 million a year as a gift to Macon-Bibb County Urban Development Authority. And we got 1/2 of that mall the day we signed the contract. The next half happens over 7 years. But any part of that mall we don't own, we get for $1 if we're going to use it for the mall. So one of the first things we want to do is do an amphitheater. So we took that part of the mall as part of our gift to allow us to be able to do the work on there. We pay $0 for the mall. More importantly, it allows an opportunity to have the Urban Development Authority, which is one of our authorities that we do these with, to go out there and sell on a private market these bonds, about 4% to investors out there. And the money can only be used for this project at the mall. A lot of people think it can be used for police and salaries. It can only be used for that purpose. Right. That's what they bought it for. The unique thing about that is the money's going to be paid back from the revenue first of the venue, which is the concerts and things of that nature, then the rents inside the mall. And as you know, and we've been moving folks into the mall, we're moving about 6 or 7 of our departments that were paying rent
tell us
somewhere
what
else.
Departments people will be able to go and take care of their business at the mall.
So the first one was the Board of Elections. Board of Elections had outgrown their site over there at the former Westgate, and they needed to expand, and we were going to get a large bill and be able to pay someone else in rent. So we thought, what better place to have it than the Macon Mall? We can get a large, about 80,000 square feet up to capacity between that and the courtrooms there, and we can move Board of Elections in there. So we decided to do that and pay ourselves rent. Same time, we had the planning and zoning and the business inspection and fees. We always talk about this one-stop shop for Macon can be a better place to do business. What better way is to put those offices really together? They're side by side. You go in one door, you can go in both. Moving those from the terminal station that was paying rent to someone else there, the transit authority, as you know. So that money comes back into the mall. We also have the sheriff's department there. We have the library there. And we're going to have the regional commission, which also is going to have some workforce component. That's taking a large square footage over there and diverting rent from third parties to our own self to help pay that debt services So all the rents in the venue pays for all the debt on the amphitheater, no matter how long the debt's going to last. And we have plenty of room to actually make money there. That's why we did the pickleball. Pickleball, I'm not sure if you played, Commissioner Lucas, yet, but I'm sure you will.
I have not played yet, but I know Pastor Stanley's wife is just an avid pickleballer, and many of the seniors at the Senior Citizens Center are just, I mean, they're hooked
A
on
lot of people are,
pickleball.
and it's not. There's a misperception that it's only for certain folks. You go out to Dolores Brooks, they want pickleball there. Macon Memorial Gym wants to have pickleball over there. So it's both a way to get engaged and meet people and bring the community together, but at the same time to bring a little money.
Hmm.
There was this big question mark about whether people that look like me were going to go into the Macon Mall because it's so dangerous. Well, we all know that's just not true.
Yeah.
That's almost a racist statement, to be honest with you. I go over there all the time. I own a business right across the street from there. I shop in that area. I go to S&S.
Hmm.
I go to President's Parkway Kroger. Never had any issues. If you're looking for trouble, you're going to find it.
Hmm.
But that area is needs some TLC. We're bringing business back there. I can tell you, the Applebee's was packed the other night.
Everything
Yeah.
was packed. I've heard from some people who just got out of line because they said, "Oh, look at all this line." So to me, it's just such a win-win situation.
It is.
And from the number of years that I've served, whenever you have that kind of thing happening, it just raises the entire area. Everybody, everything improves. The streets have been resurfaced
Right.
over there. Um, and what people ought to do is just go and see for themselves rather than listening to people who really don't have all the information. They really need to go and see for themselves. It takes a lot to sell me on something, and I ask all the questions that I want to ask until I'm satisfied that I've got, some accurate information. I don't hesitate doing that. And usually, if I support something, then all the T's have been crossed and the I's have been dotted. And immediately, I felt like the mall area was just coming back. And indeed, it is. Just y'all don't listen to folks who are telling you just some stuff because they may have some other reasons for telling you something. Let your own eyes convince you of what's going on. That is making Bibbs property. Y'all have a right to go and look at what the governmental entity representing you is doing in um, place of you. You're not there, but they are representing you. So you have a right to go and see what your government is doing on your behalf. And so I would just encourage you to please go. Have we had any new folks to join us? But we want to welcome all of you, those who are on AM, those who are on FM, those who are right here watching us on the Glory Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you once again to Ask Elaine. Our special guest today is the incumbent mayor, Lester Miller, who worked it into his schedule to come and talk because so many people have so many questions about things. And I want you to hear from the horse's mouth what is and is not. And you can always question. If you're on and you wish to ask a question or make a comment in the chat, you're welcome to do that. Our call-in number is 478-250-1444, and we welcome you to call us. We want to thank Coroner Leon Jones for all that he's doing. I know that he listens to Ask Elaine, and we want to compliment him and some other folks with your administration who took all of those ashes of deceased individuals that families had not claimed.
Right.
And I think there were children's ashes. There were people of all ages, races, whatever, whose ashes had not been claimed by their families. And there was a ceremony
Right.
a couple of weeks ago where the ashes were spread over a certain area in a very solemn ceremony. And I think that was just a wonderful thing. Dr. Ficklin, I think,
Right.
presided over it.
It's a scatter garden at
Uh
Rosehill
huh.
Cemetery, and we've honored, I think, about 250 so far, and there's another 100, 200 left to do. That we'll have another ceremony, but it's a very respected way to honor those. A lot of those are newborn babies too, with just
Mm-hmm.
baby names. But it's something that needed to be done, and a lot of people played a part in that. And certainly appreciate all the work from Michael McNeil, who did all the attorney work on
Right.
there.
Right.
Miss Janice Ross played a part in it. Of
Right.
course,
That's right.
Kitty played a great part in it, and so did Dr. Ficklin, in that we
Mm-hmm.
honored the people in the way that they should be honored.
Okay. Those are just some of the kinds of things. We told you when you listen to Ask Elaine, you get smarter. And I bet you didn't know that we had all of those ashes of all of those folks. Those were human beings and they were just stored. But this ceremony allowed for a final tribute to those folks whose families had not claimed their ashes. I just thought that was just very a very fine observance. Let's talk about East Side, East Macon. Tell us about that property that sat over there for the longest time, and people say, "Well, we need a sit-down restaurant. We need this and that," and we all know that every section of town needs as much commerce as possible. So, talk a little bit about what's in the works for the East Side.
Well, first of all, we're going to make sure we have some community engagement. I know, Commissioner, you've volunteered to help with that as well. That'll be coming up now that we're selecting a master planner. Part of the first 90 days will be to get community engagement. We acquired 21 acres that have been sitting there blighted for 4 decades. Four or five
Mhm.
mayors have tried to get that property, and finally we worked out a deal on that property for a lot of reasons. Number one, we have a $600 million interstate that will get finished sooner
That's
rather than later.
that's the Lucas
That's the Lucas
interchange.
interchange.
Yes, it is.
I call it Spaghetti Junction 2.0, but that's a big
Lucas
project
interchange.
there.
Yeah.
Got a new entrance that'll be coming off of Second Street there. But more importantly, we're kind of in a bottleneck in East Macon. Not a lot of growth is there. People worry about a couple of businesses that's left, but those are national chains that agreed to close years and years ago.
Years ago.
That's not
Yeah.
anything new. I can tell you, we've reached out to a lot of places ourselves, and they want to see something happen first. So
Mhm.
if you want to attract good restaurants, sit down restaurants, you got to have a couple of things. Number one, you got to have investment in the area. You got to have new residences. You got to lift up the people that have lower incomes in there to a livable wage. And we're trying to do all those things. So the only way we're going to get all these great restaurants and new retail and entertainment in East Macon is to address those other issues. So we exercise site control. The commission pretty much unanimously. I think we have one person that did not vote for it. But it's a great project. We've got a master planner that's going to come in. We're going to either do a land lease or have someone purchase the property with some rights to that to build new hotels, new residences, new restaurants, new entertainment there. And all the money, like I said earlier, all the money has to be spent in East Macon. That's the best part about it. So if you want to find some money for things, it comes out of that project for infrastructure, for homes, just for attracting new businesses there. So it's going to happen. We'll have the final product in probably about 6 months, and hopefully start some upward development in 2025.
Okay, so I'm term limited. Y'all know that, and so December my term ends as commissioner for District 3, and I hope during that time, right before I leave, that we will be a part of some of the announcements that will be made. Over there. It's a frustrating kind of thing because a lot of the development you're not in control of what comes in to an area or what does not.
Right.
And many, as you said, many decisions are made somewhere else at corporate headquarters, and they finally filter down, and we as elected officials find out about it when the general public finds out about it. We want to welcome Nachasity Jones. Good evening to you. Erica White. We've already mentioned Kimberly Houston. We were at the nail shop the other, yeah, yeah. the other day. So yeah, she's always listening, she and her mom, to Ask Elaine. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. And Patricia Booz and Ricky and Randy Crawford and all the others who've tuned in on AM, FM, or on the Glory Live. We're here with our special guest this week, who is none other than the Honorable Lester Miller, who is mayor of Macon Bibb. He's running for re-election to that post, and he's letting you know about his background. And he's also letting you know what these different projects are about in Macon Bibb County. So if you have a question and you want to put it in the chat, if you have a comment you want to put in the chat, or if you want to call in, our call in number is 478-250-1444. We will be glad to answer any question that you might have, or make arrangements to um, find the information. Let's talk about one area that's been kind of lingering, one that I've been especially concerned about, and that's pedestrian safety. And prior to, we've had the Pedestrian Safety Review Board in place for a number of years. And we were making slight progress, but we were always frustrated because it moves kind of slowly. Would you tell us why you placed public pedestrian safety in the budget as an important item?
Sure. Well, anytime you put your money to something, that means it's a priority. And what I saw in the previous budgets was nothing towards pedestrian safety. And I think Pedestrian Safety Review Board has always been an advocate there, kind of loosely associated, but not getting a lot of traction, especially from administration. But we lost too many people year after year. And,
Yeah.
sometimes it's the driver, sometimes it's the person crossing the road. And we all know that. But one of the best ways to handle that is to look to the folks at GDOT, Department of Transportation, try to build relationships. As you recall, there's probably not a very good relationship in the past with them.
Mm-mm.
We wanted to be very intentional about it. You attended several meetings with myself, and we got the people to the table, and we meet on a regular basis, and we let them know, this is important to us. But the other way to let them know how important it is to put our money where our mouth is. So the first year we put $100,000 in there, and then we put 500,000, another 500,000 as our good faith effort to say this is something that we value. It's important. A lot of that happens to be in your district for
Right.
sure,
Right.
and also in Pineon and Eisenhower areas. But too many people are losing their lives, and there's something we can do about it. We got our hands tied to some things as far as state roads. That's why we need GDOT's help. And I'd much rather be a good friend of theirs. They control a lot of the purse
Oh
strings
yeah.
than to be on the opposite side.
Yeah.
And I found that we get better with that. So we've done a lot of things, and we're going to a lot more things. We recently hired someone, as you recall, the year we spent like 3 years trying to figure out a job description for somebody to come in here and wait for the state to give us a grant. And we decided we were tired of waiting. We were going to put a job description out there. We're going to hire somebody qualified, and Weston Stroud so far is hit the ground running. And I think he's going to make some great strides to help with that out. We're going to continue to fund it because it's important.
Right. That's good. Tell us about some of the things that this additional money will fund.
Yeah, we get recommendations from the Pedestrian Safety Review Board. It's going to fund things like lighting, traffic calming devices. They've also been great advocates about reducing speed. That's one of the ways to save lives is to slow people down.
Right.
So they're starting to give recommendations to reduce some speeds in certain areas for 25 miles an hour. We've done that on Emory Highway all the way across and Gray Highway, thanks to the advocacy there. But, doing things like low hanging fruit, like lights and signage and painting the curbs and coming up with crosswalks or putting, the bridges in the middle where people don't have to cross over with a car. That's going to change the perception there as well, but it's also going to make it a lot safer. So that money will be used for that purpose. And of course, some of it's used for paying the person that's running the show.
Mm-hmm. And Gray Highway, there is, thanks to the meetings that were held with GDOT, they heard the concerns and came up with a comprehensive plan
Right.
for safety measures on Gray Highway. And so you'll start seeing many of those. But the resurfacing of the streets, the restriping, all of those are pedestrian safety and safety in general, traffic safety measures. So look around your community and look at the different things that are changing. Uh, Okay. Any other? What about Bass Road, the highway development, Bass Road, Forest Hill Road?
Well, same thing there is we pulled up. Bass Road is a growing area, as we all know, and it costs a lot of money, but the prices there keep going up. We let the state know as well. We're putting our money up. We will meet our obligation there as soon as we can get that project let. We're well ahead of schedule there, but still we won't receive any state funding on that project to really start the process of being widened and all that till 2027, 8. But we're ready now on that project. Forest Hill's
Hmm.
been with us on again, off again. It was a big project back in the day because the mall was young and vibrant and
Yeah.
it needed that. And then it went away for a while and now it's coming back. So we'll work with that as well. But I think what you'll see, and I hope to be able to advocate for up to $50 million in roads and sidewalks under the next plus. I think it's important. We also signed, all kind of ordinance ourselves to make sure in these new projects we're building, we make it a walker friendly, safer environment for people.
Right.
So you'll see a
Yeah.
lot more sidewalks in the future like
Yeah,
we've done recently.
especially around schools, the schools where um, when the schools were built, there were no sidewalks in those areas. And many schools are encouraging students to walk to school for exercise. And, some of the parents are forming little walking school bus kinds of things to walk with groups of children to those schools, which and all of that's really good. We have a caller, Miss Farrow. Miss Farrow, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are
I'm
you?
doing good, good. I'm enjoying the
All right, thank you.
program today, and sure it has been enlightening to a lot of things that I've been hearing, and it was made clear today on. But I do want to know, can you tell me, you are the mayor, is there anything been done for more security here in the city? Um, it's been done
Public
through the
safety.
sheriff and the county department.
Okay.
Right. Let me tell you a little bit about the one thing is the Making Violence Prevention Program. That program out of 527 cities won the state visionary award, and it's because it's sheriff led and community led. But I'll tell you what this commission has done in the last 3 years. We have funded public safety to the extent of $11.5 million more in the last 3 years than previously done. We've hired 250 new deputies, which is a challenge in this environment everywhere, not just Macon Bibb County. And most people don't realize that even though the sheriff is a constitutional officer. We've also allocated $40 million in incentive pay. For those deputies, we can retain the very best. If they've been there 10 years, they get 2,500. They've been there up to 2025, they get $5,500 check every January, a lump sum check. That resulted in less people leaving the profession. We've also beefed up other areas. We wanted to take some of the responsibilities off the sheriff that are they're something that someone else could do, and we beefed up code enforcement. Before the code enforcement was created, the sheriff would have to go in and inspect every single co-am machine in the stores, every business license, every alcohol license, a car in the alleys. And we've given those jobs to code enforcement along with aggressive panhandlers. So that relieves the number of deputies we have to have. And of course, technology, we've invested in technology all across with these flock cameras we've got, these other cameras downtown. Those types of high technology that we have helps speed up the process for deputies and it helps us kind of make up for some that we don't have right now. But we're continuing. We're ready for hire right now. We've allocated funds to hire as many qualified deputies as the sheriff can get in there, and we're going to continue to do that. And as evidence of that, our violent homicides are down 43% in over a year. Even with this year, we had a little spurt here recently. We're still at or below where we were last year. More importantly, our Making Violence Prevention Program and our mental health that we've been targeting there. These types of getting to the root causes have reduced the teen homicides by 68% in the last 2 years, which is astounding.
Yeah, for a while there, every family that you could think of, so many families were dealing with the loss of a young one in that family. So we Ms. Farrow, thank you for tuning in to Ask Elaine and thank you for your question.
All right, and thank you all.
All right, you have a great evening. All right, we have Desmond Brown says that he misses having Ricky Fuller to help with securing building, electrical, and plumbing permits locally. How can we get permits approved locally?
Well, we do get permits approved locally. We just have a company that's based from another place that actually has local people here. One of the great things about moving into the Macon Mall for our business inspection and fees, and that safe build contract's open next year. We'll revisit that when it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
But having our planning and zoning working hand in hand, side by side with the business inspection fees is going to help streamline a lot of things, make it quicker, more efficient. But what we don't want to do is have the good old boys like we had in the past, where
Mm-hmm.
people would know somebody and
And they could get
they could
their
get a deal.
permit done,
And
and
some would
then
get
you
done.
had to go through all of the, jump through all the hoops,
Right.
rightfully so.
Or not have you cannot have a contractor's license, and you can go out
Mm,
and do some work and not be properly permitted. And that really hurt the customer on a lot of occasions. So
right.
that's something that has to be addressed. But I think it's code enforcement was our top priority because we didn't have one, and we saw the need for the blighted structures that we had in the community. And we heard that from all over the place about these blighted structures. Now we're moving along. We got code enforcement in hand. We got the blighted structures in hand. We're moving closer to doing some type of an oversee or a combination of our own business inspection and fees.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be doing a ribbon cutting very soon. It's ready. They're moving in their furniture there already. Already
Mm-hmm.
got their internet up at the mall and their phones there and their workers are there. So we're finding already there's been a great collaboration going between them.
Look, I keep telling you folks, when your money is involved and it's being spent, you need to go. You don't need to sit and say, oh, well, that's for certain people. I don't need to go do this and do that. Where your money is concerned, we're operating as representatives of you, the people. And so ultimately, we answer to you. So you have a right to go and look. Because I tell people all the time, go to that mall and check out the new board of elections and all of those other things that have been done out there. And if you're not willing to do that, just don't complain. Don't complain. We want to get to these other questions. We had Andrea Cook, who why was it important to create the MVP, the Macon Violence Prevention Program, and for funding several? Let's see, I think I lost the question.
Well, it's mental
Macon
health.
Violence,
Right.
but yeah, yeah.
I think it's important because, as we know, since the state basically canceled mental health treatment years ago with shutting down places like the Central State Prison, Central State
Mm-hmm.
Hospital, which now
Mm-hmm.
we use prisons to basically take care of that. We lack severe mental health treatment, as you know, and Senator
Yeah.
has advocated in Atlanta. I have advocated myself to make sure that the surplus we have in Atlanta gets spent on mental health treatment
Right.
because it's a root cause for a lot of problems, a lot of trauma that our kids have. So it
Mm-hmm.
affects reading on grade level, it affects people getting jobs, it affects our
Right.
crime rate. So it's important for us to address those issues. Our Macon Violence Prevention, I mentioned earlier, has won the state award, but also we recently have a scorecard that we got showing that we were number 6 in the nation uh, for addressing violent crime. And that's part of our MVP program, which,
Mm-hmm.
the DA herself has a RISE program that's
Right.
fabulous, and she's doing a
Right.
good job of that. Everybody is, pitching in to make things happen. The sheriff doing his job. And of course, the Community Foundation, through the 41 grants they did for our community organizations, are doing their part. And our Mental Health Matters at the Southern Torch, they run that program. They're doing a great job of getting out in the community to give people the help they need without having to pay and without the stigmatism. So I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to continue to do that.
And we're going to continue to invite people who are working in these different areas to come on your talk and information program, Ask Elaine, so that we can get that information out. So y'all keep listening and encourage other folks to tune in on Wednesday at 3 so that they can get smart like you. Because you come and you get all of this information. This is information that you're not going to get anywhere else, or you're going to get a 30-second little blip, of information, which is not enough. So y'all you've got to be, a missionary. You got to go out and you got to let people know that there is a place where you can get additional information. And that place is right here on Historic WDDO every Wednesday from 3 to 4 with your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas. Let's go to another question that we have. Um, Someone loves the show. That's great. That is great. Um, I know. Ricky Crawford says, Mayor, why the bailiffs don't get any incentive money for years of service at the courthouse?
Well, they're supposed to be full-time employees and they have to be designated as public safety employees. So that decision was made when we allocated those funds for the public safety, which is your EMA, your fire, and your police. There's other departments that are not designated as public safety either that don't get that pay. It's something perhaps could be expanded in the future, but right now with the funds that we have set aside, that was the reason for that. Full-time employees designated as public safety, and we also started at 10 years as well. But since then, we've been giving raises to those from 0 to 10 in most departments, and we expect that the new budget we're going to announce here soon that there'll be a lot more raises given.
Okay. Okay. Carolyn Glover asked, I live on Stonecrest Court in Sub South Bibb, the intersection of Vincent Road, Liberty Church Road. Behind her house, there's a pathway that says, do not, and I lose, do not enter, yet there are motorcycles, mopeds back there. And
I see her question. I
yeah,
think, in short, she doesn't want to hear this as sheriff's responsibility, but it is. I know on several occasions, Commissioner Howell has went to the sheriff directly. We're looking at code enforcement to see if there's a way. He is getting some $30,000 to be used for public safety in his district, and that's a possibility to put some cameras up there so we can actually catch the people who are doing that and help the sheriff out a little bit. It is a long-term process. I'm not going to get into all the discussions about the sheriff's a constitutional officer, but as Commissioner Lucas knows, there's a lot that we can do to fund and to create some initiatives, but it's a lot we can't do as far as the sheriff deputies are going to be doing. But I know Commissioner Howell's been working on that, and I know there's a talk about putting some additional cameras out there will help the enforcement for these issues.
right. It is so important to utilize the uh, group dynamics that come about when you have the neighborhood watch with um, oh,
Judy Gordon?
Judy Gordon. Yeah, yeah. Judy, don't kill me. Judy Gordon, who provides a lot of services and organizing energy to these neighborhood groups. I know we have quite a few in District 3. And they meet regularly, and together they can identify lists of concerns. Like we had some East Macon folks to come to the commission meeting last night, and they expressed that there were some things that they were concerned about, some things that they would like to have. And so we told them we're as elected officials, we're available to come to the neighborhood meetings. We just have to know when they take place. So we're going to be attending, Commissioner Brunson and I are going to be attending the meetings to bring information, but also to receive concerns from folks. So if you don't have a neighborhood association, you might want to think about pulling together some people and forming a neighborhood association so that you can see what the folks in the neighborhood can do themselves and also what your elected officials can do. So Desmond loves Ask Elaine. Thank you, Desmond. Good luck on your campaign. Um, let's see. Mayor, did you see any other questions on there? Because we do want to respond.
I see one by Patrick Davis asking
Oh,
about.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick is here. He's our statistics.
I know Patrick.
Man, Patrick's all right. Would Mayor Miller support President Joe Biden coming to Macon if he decides to come to Georgia during the 2024 presidential year? Biden did sign the American Rescue Plan Act and Infrastructure Act. How has federal funding impacted Macon? So, good question, Patrick. Mayor.
Certainly, as a city mayor in Macon-Bibb County, I will support our president for coming. We welcome him to come anytime he wishes. He's not able to get to Macon very often, but his good senators in Warnock and certainly Ossoff are here regularly, as well as Bishop and Austin Scott. So we have good representation there. As far as American Rescue Plan money, we're open book. I think we were I'm not sure if many people know, but I was asked to go to Harvard to speak on how well we used our funds. Some of that was for housing, for affordable housing, for Brookdale to help our less fortunate, for infrastructure, for doing things at the airport, for the food bank, for the match that we got out there. We've used it in such creative ways for violence, prevention, that we've been a model to many places. We've also helped things like the First Choice Primary Care to make sure they open up a place over in South off of Houston Avenue to get a pharmacy there and to get treatment there for Daybreak. I mean, we've done some wonderful things with it. And we couldn't do a lot of that without the American Rescue Plan money.
Right.
Anyone wanting to know what we spend our money on, we're open and transparent government. Simply request it in writing for a copy of what we spend our funds on for open records, and we'll be happy to provide it to you.
Okay. And Patrick, we have there's some discussion going on. I believe the Biden administration the campaign is going to have 6 or 7 presidential campaign offices in Georgia, because Georgia is very, very important. Middle Georgia is very, very important. That's why I say to you, if you're not registered, you can't vote. So don't talk to anybody about anything, because you're not taking responsibility on your end for what you need to be doing. You need to be a part of the solution. First thing is to register to vote if you are not registered, or you can't take part in electing anybody. So please do that. But it's our understanding that Macon will be a location for one of the Biden campaign offices. And we would certainly hope so. And we certainly hope that those of you who have the time would come and volunteer and make sure that there's a good voter turnout. But remember, you can't vote if you're not registered. You can't. They're not going to let you. And then also, we're going to set up voter protection here in Macon Bibb County, so that if anybody experiences any kind of problems with your voting, that's why we're encouraging folks to vote early too. We have 3 weeks of early voting, convenient locations, and at the mall, inside. No worry about any weather conditions. You're inside voting. The Senior Citizen Center and Theron Ussery, inside. So go vote early. But if you experience any problems, there will be some numbers that you can call to let us know, and then we will dispatch different folks who will come, who will assist you in getting this thing straight, because there are some efforts to challenge voters' right to vote. So we want to be on top of that and be prepared to make sure that everybody is able to exercise their right to vote. This time goes by so fast. We have a few more minutes though. Okay, so Patrick, yes, it would be great to have Uncle Joe, is who that's what I affectionately call him. And they got him some new shoes, some of those real stable shoes, so that he, doesn't trip. But you know what? I don't care. He can trip up the stairs, down the stairs, sideways, whatever. That brain is still functioning. And on the other side, that brain does not function. So I'm supporting Uncle Joe. And I know that this is separate from our guest today, but I'm saying to you, you don't change horses in the middle of the stream. And where you have one horse that's got good sense, that's doing an excellent job, and then another one that doesn't even know how to get in the stream, y'all know who to vote for. And you know who I'm supporting. It's just a public service announcement in the middle of this interview. Our special guest today is none other than the incumbent mayor of Macon Bibbs Consolidated Government, the Honorable Lester Miller. Whenever you're elected, or you have previously been elected, you are entitled to the title, the Honorable. And I use that because that is it's an honor and it's a privilege to represent people. And when someone is elected, it is at a great sacrifice. And so we just want to thank all those who've decided that they could give of their time and effort to represent us. And we compliment all those folks who are running for office because it's a lot of hard work. And we know that. So you need to get out and support those folks that you think are the best folks to represent you. Dr. Butler is on, and I was waiting for my son Lenny. Post that the deadline to register to vote is the 22nd. Is the 22nd. Um, oh, Chevis Perry asked, is it possible to bring back the mayor's youth advisory council?
I think so. I think Dr. Ficklen's been working on a similar program. We've basically been doing it under
Right,
another
the
name, but certainly,
GCAPs.
right, the GCAPs and the internship program we have. So certainly we could probably combine those things, but I think we're already doing that through another capacity.
Okay, the Honorable Desmond Brown agrees with me on the protocol on titles. It is proper protocol. Honorable Desmond Brown, yes, it is. Where's Pastor Lisa? I haven't seen her post anything. If you have a concern, if you have a question, if you have something that you want us to follow up on, please put it in the chat and we will be glad to review whatever it is. But by all means, call on your elected officials and ask them about what your needs are. Tell them what your needs are. And you're there. We can't be everywhere all the time. It's just humanly impossible. You are everywhere all the time, all the time. Ooh, I don't see how you do it. But anyway, we can't be everywhere all the time. And so we have to depend on others to let us know what's going on and what your priorities are. So please do that for us. Become committees of one to let elected officials know what it is that you need. Okay, we're gonna let you. Well, there's the music. You know, this time goes by so fast, and we have had wonderful people on today. Thank you all so very much. I'm gonna let you say one final thing, and then we're gonna be out of here.
All I want to say is I'll ask me to come back again.
Okay, we'll do it.
We'll
We'll
finish the
do
conversation.
it. We will do it. And thank you so much
My pleasure.
for taking time to be here today. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been great. This has been great. We appreciate you all. Next week, you can continue to get smarter. We're going to have some information on from a young lady who is going to talk about some energy issues, which are very, very important. You might not think about that a lot, but we're going to put it on your radar to think about energy issues going forward, the cost, accessibility, the changes, all of those kinds of things. So uh, continue tuning in. We're going to have Sheriff Davis. We're going to have Kim Carter. We're going to have DA Howard and many, many others who share information and help you to get smarter. We got to go check the school board out too. We got to do that. And the water board as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. So on behalf of all the folks here at Historic DDO, thank you. We'll see you again next week for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM.